Welcome to this week's assembly. Have you ever been too busy to help someone else? Has your mum and dad ever asked you to do something but you were too busy playing that you didn't do it? Well, I have two stories this week. Let's see what we can learn from them. Once upon a time, there was a little red hen who was always busy looking after her house and doing her garden. She always kept her house and garden tidy. One day, she bought some seeds and she said to her friends Danny Duck, Millie Mole and Robbie Rabbit, "Would you like to help me plant my seeds?" But they all said, "Sorry, Red Hen, we're too busy today." "Okay," she said, "well, I'll plant them myself." So she planted her seeds and watered them every day. And she said to her friends, "Would you like to help me water my seeds?" "Oh, we're all too busy today," they said. "Then I'll do it myself," said Red Hen. And so she carried on watering, and she also weeded around her plants. And she asked her friends again if they would help her weed. But each one said, "We're too busy." Well, the seeds grew into plants and the plants grew and they started to produce fruit and vegetables. And it came time to pick the vegetables. So Little Red Hen said to her friends, "Would you like to help me pick my vegetables?" Danny Duck said, "Sorry, but I'm going for a swim today. I'm too busy." Millie Mole said, "Sorry, I have to see how many worms have fallen into my tunnels. I'm very busy." And Robbie Rabbit said, "Sorry, I've got a play date. I'm too busy to help you." "Okay," said Red Hen, "I'll prepare the vegetables myself and I'll make some lovely vegetable stew." And so Red Hen started to prepare the vegetable stew. She got the biggest pot she could find, put some water in it, cut the vegetables, put them in the pot and started cooking. Very soon it was almost ready to eat, and by this time the stew was smelling lovely and the smells wafted through the windows down the road. And who should smell these lovely smells but her three friends? Something smells good," said Danny Duck. Millie Mole said, "That smells like my favourite." Robbie Rabbit said, "Lovely, let's go and see if we can find where it's coming from." And so they followed their noses, following the smell, and very soon they come to Red Hen's house. And they said to her, "Oh, can we help you eat your stew?" "Certainly not," said Red Hen. "You didn't help me plant my vegetables or water them or weed around them. You didn't help me pick them or make my stew. You were too busy. And so I'm too busy now eating my stew. Bye." So Millie, Robbie and Danny walked back down the road feeling quite sad. They realised how selfish they'd been. If only they hadn't been too busy. And our second story is about Jesus. Many times Jesus was busy talking to people about God and telling stories, but he was never too busy to help others. And when we care for others, we try to put them first. We think about them. We think about how we could help them. We think about what they need. Jesus did this all the time. So let's listen to the second story and find out who Jesus actually cares for. In this story, each time I say the word care, cares or cared, perhaps you give me the thumbs up. Should have a practice. Do you care? Good, well done. When bad things happen, it's sometimes hard to remember how much God cares. But he does. One day, there was a man called Jairus who had a terrible thing happen. He had one daughter who was 12 years old, and she was very, very ill. In fact, she was dying. Jairus thought to himself, I must find someone who could help my daughter. Who could heal her? Someone who really cares about children. Now, Jairus had heard some of the miracles that Jesus had done. You might remember some from other stories I've told. And Jairus heard that Jesus was coming to his town, so he decided to go and find Jesus. Well, it was quite easy to find Jesus, actually, because Jesus was surrounded by a great big crowd. Because as he walked down the street, people saw him and came out and crowded around him. Jairus went towards the crowd and shouted, Jesus, Jesus, help me. And Jesus said, let him come through to me. And Jairus went through and he said, please, Jesus, come and help my daughter. Come and heal her. I think she's dying. I know that you care. Well, Jesus did care. And he said, okay, we'll go straight away. And so Jesus, followed by the crowd, went with Jairus towards his house. Now, it was a big crowd and they were tightly packed together. A bit like if you've ever been to the KS1 Stadium coming out of the ground after an Oxford United match. Suddenly, Jesus stopped. Who touched me? He said. Peter said, Lord, everyone's touching you. There's a great big crowd. They're squashing and pushing. It's a real squash. But Jesus said, no, I know that someone touched me. I felt the power go out of me. Jairus thought, hurry up, Jesus. My daughter needs you. And he started to worry that they were waiting and not going to his daughter. Then a woman came forward from the crowd. She was looking very embarrassed. And she told Jesus, with all the crowd hearing, about an illness that she'd had for 12 years, where she had bleeding inside her tummy. She'd spent all her money on doctors, but no one could help her. She was just getting worse. But she said, when I touched the hem of your clothes, I was healed. I'm better now. And Jairus thought, hurry up, Jesus, my problem's much worse than that. But Jesus said to the woman, your faith has healed you. Go in peace. Then somebody came running up to the crowd. It was someone from Jairus' house. Jairus, he said, please stop bothering Jesus. Leave him now. I'm sorry, but I've got some terrible news. Your daughter has died. Oh no, thought Jairus, my daughter's dead. If only Jesus hadn't stopped to care for the old lady. Jesus is now too late to heal my little girl. She's died. But then Jesus said something amazing. He said, don't worry, just believe and she will be healed. Well, they carried on again and soon arrived to Jairus' house. Some people were already crying, showing how much they cared for Jairus, his wife, and the family. But Jesus said, stop. Be quiet now. Stop making that noise. She's not dead. She's asleep. But the crowd, the people at the house laughed at Jesus because they knew she was dead. And Jairus felt as if he would never care about anything ever again because he was so sad. Jesus took Jairus' wife, which is the little girl's mum and dad, and 3 of his disciples, Peter, James and John, into the girl's room. There she was, lying on the bed. Jesus held her hand and said, little girl, get up. Guess what? She's got up. She came back to life. and didn't have any illness anymore. Jesus smiled and said, "Give her something to eat. She's probably hungry." Jairus was bubbling over with happiness again. Jesus did care after all. Jesus didn't just care for the old lady that he healed from the tummy problem. He didn't just care for Jairus' daughter, who was 12, a child. He didn't just care for Jairus, who was an adult. Jairus realised that Jesus cares for everyone. Now, I'd like to pray a keep your eyes open prayer and a finger prayer. So perhaps you'd like to join me. Get your 2 index fingers, your first fingers, and put one in front of the other. The first one stands for you, and the second one stands for someone else. And I'd like you to think of someone that needs your help today. It might be a friend, it might be a parent or a family member, it might be a teacher, a TA, a lunchtime supervisor, or someone else. Start off by putting you in front, and as I say the prayer, slowly switch them round so that you come behind, you put that person first, and you think about them, and I'll say a prayer for them. And if you agree with my prayer and you want to make it yours, say amen with me at the end. Okay. Dear Jesus, please help me to care for other people today. Help me to put them first and me second, just like you did all the time. I pray for the person I'm thinking of now. Please, Jesus, comfort them, help them, guide them, strengthen them, heal them if they need healing. And please let them know that you care for them and I care for them too. Amen. Well, that's the end of our story today, and I hope you liked it. It was 2 stories today, and it's great to be with you, and hope to see you next week or very, very soon. Bye-bye. Bye.